Welcome back. Today we have a mailbag episode, and we're going to be looking at this package here that came from one of my subscribers. In a few episodes earlier, I actually ended up making a package and sending it out to one of my subscribers whose name is Chris. And after some conversations back and forth prior to that video, obviously, and afterwards, he said he was going to send me this package, which obviously he did. And this is something he made. And when we first started talking, I told him how much I really thought it was really cool. And he built another version of it, a little bit better, I guess you could say, and he sent me the older one. It's the nutshell to the story. So we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. Now, Chris and I are working on kind of a collaboration. He already did his video. I'll be working on mine in the next day or two, most likely. And basically, I sent a package to him with some components to convert a halogen light from halogen to LED. And he went ahead and did that. And in my package I sent him was some video footage that I shot here at the bench introducing me to his subscribers. And I'm going to take his footage and put it at the end of that video. So there should be an SD card in here at the very minimum and his item that he made. So I saved a little bit of trouble and time. I kind of just got this rigged up there a little bit. Inside here, a bunch of packaging. Very well packed. It's a very heavy box, actually. And you'll see why in a moment. And right away, there's some components. He told me he's going to be sending me some of these AC outlets. You see these here. They're panel mount outlets, basically. And then also there's a panel here. This is a same kind of connector like in the back of a PC, essentially. It's one of these IEC connectors. I already have an idea of something I could do with these. This is the SD card, I'm assuming. Let's see. Yeah, you see it's just a little micro SD card here. I guess I could pull it out. It really shows you what this looks like. It's just, you know, it's the same thing I sent him in the other video, just different data on it now at this point. And then there's just these two large items. As you can see, it says non-spillable battery. So let's see. I don't think he sent anything else. We'll see when we open this up here. But this is just all packaging. And let's see. This is the battery. And that gets the clue. It's very heavy. I'm not sure exactly the weight on it, but it is pretty heavy. And then this is the gizmo. And basically what this is, it's a 12-volt battery system. You can see it has a LED readout in the front here. Two terminals on the top for positive and negative. There's a fuse, on-off switch here, and then there's also the 12-volt outputs. And the newer one he built has a similar concoction like this, but it has USB outputs on it too. And there's also a switch that goes in here, if I remember correctly, like a master switch. Let's see if I can get into this thing. This is the first time I'm looking at it in person. I've seen videos of it. This looks like it's Velcros here. Chris is probably watching, chuckling right now because he knows how to get in this. Let's see. Alright, there we go. And you can see he did a wonderful job with all the heat shrink in here and the zip ties. This is the way you build stuff. Yeah, here's the switch. So you see it's one of these lit switches. So this must just come off like this. Smart packing. Like that. If this was a commercial packaging, you'd have a little sticker here that says, before using this device, you must blah, 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 blah. And have a little diagram someone would draw to actually indicate this particular motion I'm going through right now. But that goes like that. Gotta level it just right. Okay, looks good. And then these go down to the batteries. It looks like it has a fuse in here too, which is pretty cool. But there's definitely some real estate in the top. Now he told me I'm going to probably want to modify this a little bit Let's loosen this, tighten this nut up here a little bit. And I do have some ideas. There is a strapping system here. I think this is for if you're strapping this battery box down to somewhere. And then inside of here, this is actually just some foam. And then obviously these are the batteries. Let's see what kind of batteries these are. This is quite heavy. If I remember correctly, there were 2 that sits in this. Oh yeah, here they are. Yeah, these are definitely sealed lead acid batteries. And they're not light. UB 1270s, universal batteries, 12 volt, 7 amp hour. I think you can see that good. And yeah, so the thing is I don't currently have a way of charging these. I have to make a charger for it, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And of course, we like those kind of challenges here. So we'll have to see. Now, I do have somewhere in one of my storage areas here an actual chip from Texas Instruments. When getting free samples from them was a little easier. Actually, I think this goes in the middle. And it's for building a sealed lead acid battery charger. And it's just the IC chip. And you have to design the circuit, obviously, with whatever components you need to do it. And I understand it doesn't take a lot. In fact, you can get a schematic and everything online. I have to do that. That's been kind of sitting here. I've been meaning to do it. I actually got that for a project that I built many years ago. All right. And then this guy here, let's just connect to all those terminals. So I'm going to go ahead and figure that all out. This looks like these connect together. Jump cut. And that wasn't so bad. So basically, it's just a loop. I'll show you a schematic of how this all goes together. And this just gets Velcroed back on top. Pretty simple. Now I have a portable battery system. It's pretty neat. So I'm thinking about modding this. There's some ideas that I've had actually as he showed it to me, because his newer one does have USB on it. So the main thing that's very appealing to me about this is it's a nice power supply for camping for a couple nights. You could use this to power the whole site, or at least I could. For example, I have a nice little camp kitchen setup with a sink in it. Just a pan, you know, dish pan, but no faucet or anything. So I want to take a bucket of water and a little 12 volt pump and whatnot, some hosing and whatnot, and make myself a little running water sink. Because there's even a little spot in the tray that you can cut a hole into and actually put a drain into if you'd like to, so you can drain it into another bucket. But having a sink would be nice, so I could use something like this under that kitchen and have it also power some lights, do all kinds of different things. The other thing would be kind of cool to do to this would be to design a solar charger for it. I want something where I have a single DC input jack, and then I also have a terminal that I can hook the solar panels directly to, and then have it charge the battery no matter what. If you have DC coming into this, or maybe I have a AC to DC inverter of some sort, or like I said, just direct DC if you want to power, you know, off your charger in your car, something along those lines. I got to see how I could do that, but I think that'd be really cool. So how does this work? Well, you turn this switch on, you can see it's glowing blue, and that kind of turns on everything here, and that allows you to turn this switch on, which will make the little display light. You can see it's 12.8 volts, and then these two terminals up here are also powered up regardless of this switch. So you could shut this off and just kill this if you want, but these will still be active, which is nice. So you could plug in your phone charger or things like that, or maybe you have like a little mini fridge, something. You could definitely power that off there. Now 7 amp hour, it's a pretty powerful battery, so I'd be willing to see what kind of stuff you could draw off there. Now he does have some fuses. I have to open those up and see what the power rating is on those. But that's pretty much the gist of it. Now these are up here, but they're not actually connected to anything. They might be connectable to the battery, where you can, if you get the raw juice right out of those. I was thinking of maybe putting binding clips on this to make it like a a benchtop power supply, like you can see I have here in the background, where you can plug like a banana jack into. That way it would be good for a portable lab power supply, if you will. Maybe we can put some kind of an adjustable supply in this. I do have some ideas. Definitely building a power inverter, some kind of 12 volt to 5 volt circuit would be very good for this at the very minimum, so we get USB output on this. But I definitely have some ideas, and so with that, I'm gonna go look at some things. There will be some future videos on this for sure, and I don't really, you know, I can go in with a meter and show you that this is indeed getting 12.8 volts, but I checked the batteries earlier with the meter and they were dead on, so this meter's perfect. So there's not really much more. I don't have a car charger or anything like that to test out but at the moment, but we will do some tests on this. Actually, I can show that I do have a little module like this, where this will take DC in and convert it down to 5 volts, and this has a little readout on it that tells you how much volts coming into this. So we can actually wire this directly into the circuit if we do want to do that, and get a quick USB, like a real dirty USB output, you know, real quick. This does have solderable terminals on here where I can actually run wires off of it if I want to and go to another port someplace. We could actually do that. Oh, and I guess I should show the schematic. So this is basically the way it's hooked up, where coming off the batteries, and it goes to the fuse, from the fuse to the power switch. From the power switch, it splits off and goes to the smaller switch, which goes off to the voltmeter, and then that power switch also splits off and goes to the 2 outputs on top. Essentially, that's it. And this is just a quick, again, a quick dirty drawing of how I might wire it in the future. We'll see if I want to go that far. But anyway, I got to figure out some kind of a controller circuit, so this is kind of fuzzy, and I'm not sure if it'll hook up through both batteries independently and charge them independently, or if we can keep them doubled up through the charger. That I have to do some research on, but have it somehow interface with solar and also have an AC/DC kind of input going on, and outputs. The output for our whole circuit would come directly out of that circuit, possibly maybe some kind of switching relay, or, you know, whatever protection circuit, but that will come out and go directly into a fuse, into the main power switch, which will go over to 2 terminal blocks, and then we'll mount the switch and the voltmeter right next to each other maybe, or whatnot, we'll see. And those will get hooked up to the terminal blocks, and then also the outputs that are on here now, the cigarette lighter outputs, will get connected to the blocks as well, and then we'll have some kind of a 12 volt to 5 volt converter at the end. And that's pretty much what I'm planning on doing. Perhaps, we'll see. It'd be cool if there's a way you can do an actual inverter circuit in this and actually have it do AC, where you can just take one of these panel mount AC jacks and just stick that guy in there too. That's a little bit more, I don't want to say complicated, it's probably achievable, but a little bit more than I'm willing to do with this. And it being, actually with the size of the batteries in here, it wouldn't be really much different than one of those universal power supplies if you think about it. But yeah, so that's the battery case. It's really cool. Thanks, Chris, for sending it to me. I'm going to have a lot of fun tinkering with it and coming up with some cool ideas. Your craftsmanship is really awesome in this. You did a great job with it. I'll show once again inside here. Once the Velcro opens, the Velcro is nice and secure, by the way. Everything's zip tied. The wires, although it's black wire everywhere, it is color coded via the types of ends that he used for the heat shrinking. So that's awesome. There is one thing that my schematic does not show, is if you notice, there's actually 3 wires coming off here. One's positive and one's negative, obviously, and they go through the loop, but this red wire here is another positive. And remember I mentioned it looked like there was another fuse? Well, it seems that one of these terminals is actually always powered. I believe it's this one here. I'll have to see, regardless of the switch, just the way it's tied in there. I'm not sure if that was a second thought. I'll have to ask Chris about that. But either way, I'm going to drop a tester in there real quick and just see if that's the case. And that is indeed the case. So that being said, one's considered always on and others considered switched. So perhaps maybe I'll put a little tag there or something to indicate that. But yeah, that's really cool. Again, thanks Chris, I really appreciate you sending me that. And to my subscribers and viewers, people checking this out, stay tuned. There'll be some other videos with this coming up. See you guys, thanks for watching.